Hello, class. Glad that you have decided to join us once again. I hope that yesterday we didn't chew you out too much to where you didn't show up. I don't think so, but thank you for being here. Today is our Thursday, October the 7th class. The class is going to be pre-recorded and sent to you. Therefore, you do not have to be in class this afternoon at 6:30. I can assure you that this is not the best way that we like to do it, but it's the only way that we could make this happen. We have a life outside of driver's ed. I know sometimes we put our jobs in front of lots of other things, but at some point we have to tell ourselves that we have things that we'd like to do as well, just like you. We heard several comments last night about people, not being able to be in class tonight because they, excuse me, play football, they play volleyball, they got this, they got that. We got golf tournaments going on, things like that, cross country meets going on. We understand that. What if this was the rule in this class? And there's some schools out there, this is how they do it. It's a 30-hour class. If you miss 1 minute of this class, you're out. Half of y'all would have already been out. Okay, you would have to wait months and months and months to complete driver's ed simply because you were a few minutes late for class. That's just unheard of with our company. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to record this. We're going to send it out. You're going to watch it. I don't know exactly how long this class will be. I hope to be able to do at least an hour. It might run over a little bit, okay? If you allotted an hour of time for you to watch this and I'm not through, not a big deal. You pause it, you stop it, you go do whatever you got to do, and you come back and watch the rest of it, okay? I'm going to try to give some questions at the beginning and some questions at the end, and maybe even a few through the middle that you will have to know because of your quiz. Maybe not necessarily this quiz today, but it will be asked down the road. Very simple. If I ask you, what color is this piece of paper? And you answer orange or, blue on the test, pretty easy for me to figure out that you were not paying attention when I asked you what color paper that was, okay? So if you get it right, wow, maybe you listened to the class and that's what we're trying to get you to do, okay? I can tell you that after last night's class, after being in the car with students already today, my throat is kind of hoarse. I feel like I'm having to scream. And it's like this all the time because when I'm talking to a computer and you are in Waynesville, I feel like I have to scream loud enough for you to hear me in Waynesville. And I don't have to, okay? But I've got some water. I'm a little hoarse this morning, so bear with me. I'm going to try to do an hour and a half class because we got to get through some of this stuff, okay? I also have a business to try to run. So I can just tell you guys, I have reached out to a couple places, the DMV. I've reached out to some people at schools, like principals and administrative people in schools. If they call, I may have to take that phone call. If I do, no big deal. You get a 2 or 3 minute break, okay? I've been waiting on those calls pretty much all day. So if some student calls or some mom calls, probably going to look at it, send them on to my voicemail. But if I get a couple phone calls that I've got to take, I apologize. I'll take them, be back in just a couple minutes. And during that time, you can get you something to drink, use the bathroom. So with that being said, today you're going to watch this video. Melinda is going to send you a quiz. That quiz, I believe, is 50 questions. And you need to do that quiz as soon as possible, okay? From my understanding, when you complete the quiz, we can send you, or it automatically sends you your test grade. Please, 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 please listen to me. You cannot complete this quiz at 8 o'clock tonight and email her at 8:01. What'd I make? Okay. I'm going to tell Melinda that if anybody emails her asking for their grade, not to give it to them. I will give it to you on Monday if you ask for it. Okay. I understand. If you take a test, you want to know what you made. I promise you guys, we don't just send 3 of them out and let the other 60 wonder what they made. However this is going to work, either it automatically sends it to you or Melinda may have to do some things to it before it gets sent out to you. But I promise you, as soon as that happens, everybody will get it. Okay? So you wake up tomorrow morning, I've not got my test grade. Okay, it is what it is. If you ask for it, you ain't going to get it till Monday anyway. Okay? So if you find out that your best friend that's in the class got their grade and you did not, I can understand that because maybe something went wrong when we tried to send it to you. All I'm asking, guys, y'all are taking a whole bunch of our time, and a lot of it is time that we just don't need to spend trying to answer 63 questions. What I make, what I make, what I make, what I make. Boom. We send it all out at one time. Trust me, it makes our life easier, okay? You know why I'm saying this? Because yesterday's class, I spent 1 solid hour talking about eye exams. Okay? We had Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's class. And we're still talking about eye exams. Okay? So that's why I'm going to throw that out there about the test. I promise we will get it to you as soon as possible. Okay? So, right quick, you should have your notes out. You should have your pencil. You should have your piece of paper. Let me just make sure that you wrote these things down correctly. Eye exams. Asheville, 10/21, October 21st, 600 Tunnel Road from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That's going to be a tough spot. I anticipate probably a couple hundred students being there trying to get the exact same thing that you're looking for, okay? What you need to do is go there and hand out some business cards for me, okay? I'll give you $1 for everyone that calls me saying that they got a business card from you. Just kidding. Actually, I probably would. I really would. So if you're sitting there getting an eye exam, that person beside you probably goes to another school that is dying to get their permit and they're 6 hours driving. 600 Tunnel Road, 10/21, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Highlands High School, 10/27, October the 27th. I have in my notes 12 o'clock, probably going to be more like 12:30. Okay. Their lunch period does not start till 1 o'clock. If you go to Highlands High School, you cannot get out of class at 12:30 and you tell that teacher that, excuse me, that you got to go get an eye exam. If we are set up in the cafeteria and you show up there at 12:30 and I ask you, do you go to Highlands High School? And you say yes, I'm sending you back to class. All right? Because that tells me that you did not listen to this video. If you go to Highlands High School on October the 27th, during lunch period, you get like a 30, 40-minute lunch period. This eye exam will take you 1 minute. Okay? You come to wherever we ask you to come to. You look in the machine, you're done, you go eat lunch. Not before, not after. Well, I forgot. Well, I'm going to forget to book you to do your driving, okay? It's pretty simple, guys. Highlands High School, you're lucky. Now, let me tell you something. If you go to Tuscola High School, do not show up to Highlands High School without calling me and asking first, okay? Because that school may turn you away because you don't attend that school. The next school may say, yeah, it's okay. Come on in. Not a big deal. I should know that. If I don't, I will make a phone call and say, hey, I've got some students from Waynesville. I got some students from Franklin that want to come to Highlands to get their eye exam. Are you okay with it? It's up to them. If they say yes, it's yes. That goes with any school. If you are going outside of your area, then please let me know that you want to go to that area and I'll check for you. All right. So Murphy. If you live in Murphy, most of the time, this is the deal. If we do it after school, like in Murphy, if we do it after school, then it's usually okay. Say somebody from Hayesville shows up because it's after school hours. If you live in Cherokee County, which is Murphy, Andrews, Hiawassee Dam, Tri-County, Early College, the Oaks, if you live in Cherokee County, I would think that you are more than welcome to come get your eye exam at Murphy High School on October the 20th at 3 o'clock. Okay? It will be from probably 3 o'clock to about 4:30. 3 o'clock to 4:30. So what does that mean? If you live at Hiawassee Dam, you go to school, you get out at 3 o'clock, you go to Murphy High School. You do not have to get out of class at 2 o'clock so that you are at Murphy High School at 3 o'clock. Okay? These things we go over because that's exactly what's going to happen. And Mr. McNabb's going to call me from Hiawassee Dam High School. Why is all my students leaving school at 2 o'clock to get an eye exam? I'm going to be straight up with him and say, Mr. McNabb, I apologize for that because I did not tell them to do that. Guys, this is not rocket science stuff. It's not that hard. Just listen, write notes so that you can go back and check yourself. One good thing about doing this recording, you can always rewind it a little bit. Like I didn't hear what he said. Go back and check again. Make sure that your times match these times. Murphy High School, October 20th, 3 o'clock. The Clyde DMV office. If you go to Tuscola, Pisgah, Haywood Christian Academy, I'm thinking of the name. Give me a second. Shining Rock Charter School. If you live in the Bunker or the Haywood County area, Clyde DMV office on this coming Monday on 10/11, October the 11th from 2:30. He told me he would stay there until about 4:45. I'm telling you 4:30. If you're not there by 4:30, listen, this guy gets off work at 5 o'clock. I am not going to ask him to stay over 1 minute, not 1 minute. I'm telling you, if you are next in line and at 5 o'clock, or actually he said 4:45, we're going to say 4:45, he's leaving there. I don't care if there's 20 people in line. At 4:45, when my phone says 4:45, this eye exam is over. Well, I drove all the way from Asheville to Clyde. Can't help it. I don't know what to tell you. Because this is the deal. If at 4:45 we still got 25 students waiting in line and that guy has to stay later, what do you think he's going to do the next time I call and ask him, hey, can you line up an eye exam? He's going to be like, nope, I'm busy. Why? Because we didn't do it like he asked us to do it this time. But anybody is welcome. It doesn't matter what school you go to. This one on Monday, October the 11th from 2:30 to 4:30 is going to be open to anybody. All right? Anybody. It doesn't matter where you live because it's being offered not at the school but at the DMV office. I do not have the address. Okay? In order for me to get the address, I would have to get my phone and Google what is the address for the DMV office in Clyde, North Carolina. You can do that. You can do that. So there's no reason to ask me what the address is. I'm okay with you asking me, but I'm telling you now, I don't know. So because of that, you figured out, you can, trust me, Google that a lot easier than I can. So those are the dates. Clyde, DMV office, Monday, October the 11th, 2:30 to 4:30. If you're not in line by 4:30, I am going to ask you to find another date. And not a big deal, guys, not a big deal. It just means that we can't drive with you until you get done. The next thing I want to mention right quick is we are getting phone calls from your friends. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a business that we run. We work our tails off trying to provide this service to you. We do. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not tooting our horn or anything like that, but we do. Because a lot of places may not. They may not care if they have to work Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. The staff that I have on my team, they do. They really and truly do. And so I'm saying that when you go and tell your best friend, oh my gosh, I'm in a driver's ed class. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm learning something. I feel like that we're going to be able to get through this a lot quicker than anywhere else. When you tell them that, they go tell their parents, and then guess what? My phone rings. I have probably got 5 or 6 phone calls today And I always try to ask, hey, how did you find out about WNC Driving School? Well, there's a student in your class that told my daughter, and my daughter told my cousin, and the cousin told the uncle, and the uncle called me, and now I'm calling you. That's how this works. You will probably never see a billboard on the side of the road that says WNC Driving School. Not going to happen. You know why? I called one time and asked in Murphy, North Carolina, hey, there's a billboard that says it's available. What does it cost? $900 a month is what it would cost me to put my advertising on that billboard. I'm like, well, you're crazy. I am not paying $900 a month. You know what I will do? I will treat you fairly, honestly. We work our tail off. We do it as quickly as we can, the best that we can. And then I'm going to ask you to tell the truth to your friends and your family members. Just tell the truth. If it was good, tell them it's good. If it was bad, tell them it's bad. Just tell the truth. So I wanted to spend just a second telling some of y'all, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. If you've not done that and you know that you have a family friend that has been waiting on driver's ed, please tell them. My number is 828-342-6051. You tell them to call me, and we will do our best to try to get them into our next class, which will probably be sometime in December. Okay. Now, what else? What else? What else? What else? I wish you were here, guys. I promise you, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done. I feel like I'm talking to the wall right here. I wish I could see you smile. I wish I could see you laugh. I wish that Melinda was there so we could pick at her and let her know how bad Auburn plays sometimes, but she's in the car. I can assure you that she would rather be in a class enjoying time with y'all than what she's doing today, okay? But with that being said, let's move forward. Let's try to get through the class. We have got to move on with some of this stuff. So let me share my screen, and we will skip through some of this stuff, not because I don't think it's important, but simply because I know that we're going to talk about this in the car. Okay, I can spend 30 minutes talking about it now, 30 minutes in the car. We're going to talk about this in the car. So I will just boom, 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 skip through it and then try to hit some of the things that we're not. Okay, so give me just a second. Let me share my screen with you. There it is. And just like that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch this. Looks like a 2-minute, 30-second video. You kind of see how the class is going to be running. This program is used throughout the whole state of North Carolina. It is kind of outdated. You can see by some of the videos, some of the cars are older. You know, these are cars that Melinda used back in her day. But some of these videos, you can tell that they're a little bit older. But I still feel like it doesn't matter if it was a video from yesterday or from 15 years ago. The concept usually is the same. It usually worked. If it worked 15 years ago, it will probably work now. Okay. So let's just watch the video and then we'll talk about some of this.
Now to a more difficult maneuver. It's a bit tricky and can be dangerous. First, we need to be able to see where we're going. The only way to get a good view of the area behind the car is to turn around and look at it. We place the left hand at 12 o'clock on the steering wheel, the right hand over the back of the passenger seat, and twist around to see straight through the rear window.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there, okay? I wish that I could see you right now because the question that I would ask you is, how many of your parents do that backing out of the driveway? That may be a question that we could do I don't think we've done a poll yet. Melinda can send you a poll question. How many of your parents turn and look out the back window like that when they back up? I would like to know that. I'm going to jot that down. Poll for Okay, so I want Melinda at some point to send a survey out, a poll out, and ask. So you need to be thinking about this. The next time you back up, you're riding with your parents. What the guy was saying was, you put your hand on the clock. Your steering wheel's a clock. 12 o'clock is right here on top of the wheel. Then you will put your your right hand on the back of the seat, and you will turn and look out the back window as you're backing. That is what we call a straight line back. If you're taking notes, you need to write straight line back, because there's a difference. It's not backing, it's straight line backing. So what I have been taught and what I have read is that if you are backing in a straight line, that's how you're supposed to do it. That you are supposed to put your left hand at 12 o'clock, your right hand on the back of the seat, and you're supposed to turn and look out the back window. When I can just tell you this, when Melinda sends that poll to all the students, I hope she sends it to me, because I'm going to respond back. Do you do this when you back up? My answer is going to be no, I do not. I just don't. I never have. Probably, more than likely, never will. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's wrong to do it that way. It's just that's not how I learned to do it. And out of 63, 64 students, probably 50-50. If we took a poll on this, 50% of you would say, yeah, my parents do that every time. Some of y'all would say, no, I don't think my parents ever do that. Let me tell you this. Some of y'all would say, well, when mom backs out of the driveway, she's looking straight at the backup camera. You don't want to do that either. Okay. So I'm going to try to rewind this video just a little bit, and I am going to stop it right there. Okay. So from that position right there, I want you to look at this guy. He's got his left hand at 12 o'clock. He's got his right hand on the back of the seat. Okay. And he's looking out the back window. So right now, nobody can see you. So try to do that as if you were that guy. Left hand, right hand, turn and look. So from that position right there, do you see that yellow fire hydrant right there? All right. So everybody should be shaking your head right now. Even though I can't see you, I hope that you're shaking your head, because you should be able to see that yellow fire hydrant. There's a sidewalk right there. So I don't want to just tell you I don't do it that way because I'm lazy. I don't do it that way because it takes too much effort. I'm going to tell you right now why I do not do it that way. Because from that position, that yellow fire hydrant right there, if that was a pedestrian, that guy would not be able to see that. He can't. Unless he can turn his head in a direction that I can't, there's no way he's going to be able to see that fire hydrant. Okay. I'm not telling you not to do it this way. Matter of fact, when we get in the car to drive, I'm going to show you how to do it that way, even though I don't do it that way. Okay. The reason I'm going to show you is because the DMV office is going to require you to do it this way when you go to take your driving test. Now, when are you going to take a driving test? A year from now. Because you have to have your permit for 1 year before you're eligible to get a license. And in order to get a license, one of the things you must do is what they call a straight line back. So you're going to be driving down the road. The DMV person is going to say, okay, stop the car right here. They will grade you on how you stop the car. When you stop the car, they will say, good job, hopefully. Now, give me a straight line back. That's how you got to do it. If you don't do it that way, you fail. You'll put your hand at 12 o'clock, hand here, turn and look out the back window. You don't have to back very far. You only back maybe 30, 40 feet, okay? She'll say, okay, stop, turn around, drive forward. And you do that. Now, let me tell you the difference, and I'm going to watch some of the video to see, is they teach you to do it this way, a straight line back, when you are backing only in a straight line. If you know that you are going to back out of your driveway and you're going to turn into the road and go the opposite direction, that's what I do every single morning when I leave my house. I back out of my driveway out into the road and go the opposite direction every day. Okay. So they teach you that if you are backing the car in a straight line, this is how you do it. But if you know that you have to turn the wheel, they do not want you to do it this way. Why? Because think about it. If you got your left hand on the wheel, right hand on the back of the seat, then the only way you can turn that wheel is one-handed. They do not want you to turn the wheel one-handed. I'm just telling you, this is how it is. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't, but it is what it is, okay? More than likely, you are going to do what we've said many times in this class, whatever works best for you. You might have one parent that does it this way, the next parent doesn't. It is what it is. Is one of them right, one of them wrong? No. I can just tell you that you need to figure out which way works best for you. We're going to show you the way that you are supposed to do it when you go to the DMV office. Because the last thing we want is you to fail your test. Well, I ain't never done it that way. We're going to show you how to do it that way and then let you decide, okay? So that's the reason I stopped the video, because from that position right there, if that was a kid right there at that yellow fire hydrant and he continues and that kid's walking through there with his cell phone, that's not going to be a good situation, all right? Let's continue with the video.
The right hand over the back of the passenger seat and twist around to see straight through the rear window. We want to go very slowly. It's harder to see, and the car is harder.
All right, so look right here. This guy is going to back out into the road. So right now, that tree could be a kid walking through there, okay? Now, when he gets out into the road, the only way that he can get the back of the car going in the direction he wants is by using one hand. I'm just telling you guys, this is a program that is used nationally. I'm just telling you that the DMV office does not want you turning that wheel with one hand. So what's in the video? He's going to turn the wheel with one hand. That's why I want to point some of this stuff out to you.
To control, we just slip the transmission into reverse and let the engine idle the car backward. We'll go plenty fast enough, and it leaves the right foot free to use the brake. To back in a straight line, we can imagine a point directly behind us and adjust the steering to back toward it. In reverse, the car will turn in the direction the steering wheel is turned, just like going forward.
All right, so let me stop you right there again. So if you're backing the car, a test question could be this. If you're backing the car, which direction do you move the wheel? Okay, let me answer that for you. If you want the back of the car to go to your right, you turn the wheel to your right. If you want the back of the car to go to the left, you will turn the wheel to the left. You have to think about these things. A lot of students, they don't know, so they guess. I don't know which way to turn it. Let's try this way. Oh, wrong way. Let's go back this way. Don't be that person. Think about what you're going to do. If you want the back of the car to go right, you turn the wheel right. If you want the back of the car to go left, you turn the wheel left. Please, 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 please start watching your parents. I wonder how many people checked today on your way to school or after school or whatever, the glove box for the owner's manual. These are little things that I'm asking you to do that I promise will make a difference. Just like what I just said, watch your parents. You should be able to know right now whether or not your parents look behind them or they just look in their rearview mirror or their backup camera. You should know that if you're paying attention. You know what you got to do to pay attention? Put this thing up. If you'll put that up, you'll probably learn a lot just driving to school. Wow, I didn't know there's a red light here, and I've lived here my whole life. Promise you guys, some of y'all don't know that. Some of y'all, I could get in the car with you at your high school, pick you up tomorrow, throw you the keys and say, hey, dude, you're driving me to your house. I don't know how to get there. Come on, man. You should know how to get home. If you do what? Put this up. Let's see. That's my daughter. All right, so let's continue. Thank you for being in class today.
To back that direction, turn the wheel in the same direction. To turn that direction, turn the wheel that direction. While the car steers the same in both directions, there is one difference. The car is now being steered by the front wheels. When we back, it's really the front end of the car that's turning. The back goes left because the front swings right, sort of like a wagging tail. While we need to see behind us, it pays to stop for a moment to see what the front end is doing.
Wow.
This is especially true when backing out of a parking space. As long as we're moving slowly, we'll have time to make corrections. Some cars are not as quick to stop going backward. We need to allow for that and start braking a little earlier. Having to look over the right shoulder makes us blind to anything coming from our left. While we're stopped, we need to take a good look. No one coming.
All right, so there is just a little quick video on backing the car. You know, the next few kind of screens here talks about it. Check for objects. Remember, one of the first days we talked about checking the vehicle as you approach it, things like that, shifting into reverse. Most of the time when you're backing up, you do not need gas. You just don't. By letting off your brake, you're going to roll back fast enough, okay? So some of this, we just watched it in the video. We're just going to skip over it, okay? All this is pretty much what they just talked about. Unit review, here we go. Traffic control devices and laws. Here we Chapter 4. All right, we want to try to get through this today. A lot of these things on your next quiz, we may put some of this stuff out there for you to be able to match the, different things together. But let's continue through here. Person traffic controls. Think about it. One of the first videos that we talked about, the guy says, imagine driving without traffic signals and traffic lights. That would not be good, okay? It just wouldn't. I know that I have been to Honduras on 2 different occasions, third world country. It's different there. It is really and truly different. It's almost funny because in those countries like that, you have a lot of motorcycles, you have a lot of school buses, not school buses, but buses, people walking on the side of the road, and there is no laws. There is no, oh, this is a passing zone. No, it ain't. You pass when you want to pass. If my car goes faster than your car, I will push you out of the road and pass you. And I'm being honest when I tell you that. There was a time that from the airport, this company picked us up in a bus. And when I say bus, it was like a 100-year-old school bus. Like this bus would never be able to drive on the roads in North Carolina. Windows busted out of it. You couldn't even get it in gear. It just grinded and stuff. But hey, at least we didn't have to walk. So this lady picks us up at the airport. We're driving down the road, and here is an 18-wheeler that we are going to pull out and pass. That 18-wheeler is going up a little bit of a hill and honestly probably going like 40 miles an hour. Our school bus probably maxed out at like 41 miles an hour. I'm talking with it to the floor. And we're driving, and I'm like, we're getting closer and closer to that 18-wheeler. And all of a sudden, that lady pulls over into the other lane to pass this 18-wheeler going uphill. And I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, this ain't going to work out too good. It's not going to work out because we're not going fast enough. And here comes a car. That lady just sat there. She just drove that school bus. We got closer. That car was coming at us. The 18-wheeler's right beside of us. We're passing it right beside. I'm looking at the 18-wheeler. I'm looking at the car coming at us. 18-wheeler car, 18-wheeler car. That lady was just, she never let up. She just bounced on that seat. I'll never forget this guy. And all of a sudden, we get about 50 yards from that car. That car swerves off the road, right on by. And and I'm like looking back like, okay, is that guy still alive? He just gets right back on the road, never even touched his brakes. What we decided on the way to where we was going is the biggest vehicle wins. If my bus is bigger than your car, you better move, because it's going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt me. I say that to say that when we pull up in Franklin, we have roundabouts. My goodness, there is 7 roundabouts, and people don't like them. I'm just telling you. We'll talk more about this later, but my point in the trip to Honduras was that sometimes when we do have a roundabout and you're able to get to school and work safely, then it's probably because of these things that to us is an inconvenience. We don't like them. We got to slow down. Try driving in Honduras. That if this is what I think, what if that would have been another school bus instead of a car? Well, there's no way. We drove beside that 18-wheeler for probably about 3/4 of a mile before we ever got in front of it to get back in front of it. That we passed them to get in front of it. So some of these things that we talk about, the traffic signals, the pavement markings, these pavement markings, you have white lines, you have yellow dots, white dots. These are things that you should know. Why is it white dots instead of yellow dots? You should know that. Let's continue. We'll talk about it. Traffic signs, signals, pavement markings, rules of the roads. Continue on. Let's watch this video. It is a little bit long, 13 minutes. I may stop and ask questions. I may stop halfway through this video and give you a test question, because this 13 minutes and 33 seconds is not a time for you to run to the bathroom, okay? If you got to go to the bathroom, go. I just hope you don't miss nothing while you're there.
Sometimes you can play the game really well, but if you don't follow the rules, you lose. It's the same way with driving. Break the rules, and you pay, sometimes dearly. So before we get to the finer points of safe driving practices, let's go over the basic rules. They weren't made up yesterday. They are based on over a half-century of experience with roads, the cars that drive on them, the people who drive the cars, and with what happens when things go wrong. Rules of the road cover signals, signs, pavement markings, and some rules for how we use the road. If everyone went in the same direction at the same speed, we might not need rules. But people want to go in different directions at different speeds. One way of keeping things under control is the use of traffic control devices. Everyone knows what this means. Go. This light lets us turn in any direction we want. However, if we want to turn left, we'll have to yield to any oncoming traffic. This says that we can turn left without worrying about oncoming cars. And this means stop, and stay stopped until it says go. At most intersections, it is okay to make a right turn after making a complete stop and making sure that no one is coming. Except where there is a sign prohibiting it. What about this? No, it doesn't mean speed up and try to get through before it turns red. In some places, we can be ticketed for being in the intersection when the light turns red. Yellow means caution, or stop unless we are too close to the intersection to stop and can easily make it through on the yellow. This means that we can turn in the direction of the arrow with caution. It usually appears just as a green arrow is ending, and we need to give way to any oncoming cars. This means that we can go through the intersection, but we need to look out for cars on the cross street who usually have this, which means stop, but then proceed if no one is coming on the cross street. Another way of controlling traffic is with signs that regulate it. This means the same thing as a flashing red light. A stop sign is always red and has 8 sides. It requires coming to a complete stop and staying stopped until the way is clear. Cars on the main road and pedestrians crossing the road have the right of way. Even if we've had to stop earlier, we still have to stop when we reach the sign. Some intersections have a four-way stop, meaning that both streets have stop signs. The rule here is that the first car to stop is the first car to go. A complete stop means a complete stop. Rolling through a stop sign is a violation. It counts as much as a speeding ticket, and millions are written each year. This is a yield sign. We can tell by the triangular shape even before we can read it. Like a stop sign, it says we have to yield to vehicles on the street that we are approaching. But if no one is coming, we can continue without having to stop. This is a symbol that appears on signs to tell us things we cannot do, like no left turn, or no right turn, or no U-turn. This says that we can't go straight ahead. This sign tells us when traffic on a cross street is permitted in one direction only. Drivers have been known to overlook them, with embarrassing results.
Let me stop the class right there for just a second, the video. When that guy was talking about going in the wrong direction yesterday, I was driving through town in Franklin. If you know where the hot spot is in Franklin, I pulled out of the hot spot and I took a right. And I am headed, I guess what I'd say, toward McDonald's, okay? I am driving in, I guess what you call the slow lane, and there is white dots to my left. Those white dots indicate that there is 2 lanes going in the same direction, and you can cross to either lane. It's like on a 4-lane. If you're driving down the 4-lane, you can pass somebody by crossing over the white dots. This happened yesterday. It's a one-way, 2 lanes going in the same direction in one direction, okay? I pull out of the hot spot. I took a right. I'm in the right-hand lane. I get probably 100 yards up the road. Here comes a car at me in the left lane. And it was funny because this lady, I freaked her out. I thought she probably peed in her pants, to be honest with you. Because as she comes at me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that car is on the wrong side of the road coming at me. Okay. And she gets right beside me and I hammer down on the horn. And what was funny about it, I guess, is because the front of her car, like the bumper was like halfway ripped off. I'm thinking there's a reason that her bumper is about ripped off because obviously she does not know how to drive. But when I pressed on that horn, I mean, it was right beside me. I was like, wah! So she slammed on the brakes and like she had been shot at. And I think she realized something ain't right, turned around and went the right direction. I could see her in my mirror. You know, and I didn't try to blow the horn to, you know, scare her or anything like that. But I wish you could see the look on her face. But listen, guys, if you have white dots driving down the road, and if y'all are going at each other, somebody's wrong. You got to know that. You have got to know that so that you don't do that. I mean, there's white dots that indicates 2 lanes going in the same direction. I'm driving down the road. Here comes a car at me. that has got to register in your mind. Oh my gosh, there should not be white dots and me and this car passing each other like that. So either I'm wrong or she's wrong. I would have to say that either she's on drugs and she's high or she's not from the area. I would about bet if I was driving in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm going in a direction, here comes cars at me, I'm probably going to indicate to myself that I'm wrong because I don't have a clue where I'm going, okay? So with that being said, those things are going to happen, guys. They just do. I mean, it happened yesterday to me. This sign right here, it says no passing zone. Whenever you go to the DMV office, you have got to take a road sign test. All right, a road sign test. When you get your 6 hours of driving completed, we give you a certificate. You take that certificate, right here it is. Well, I'm not going to show you. You take that certificate to the DMV office, and you take a 25-question test and a road sign test. This is a road sign. All right. So in order to take that road sign test, you're going to look into a machine. All right. There'll be a picture of a sign with no words on it. It will be a picture of a stop sign, no word. You have to call that road sign out to the DMV guy. That is a stop sign. That is a yield sign. The reason I stopped you right here, this sign right here is on your test. Promise you, it's on your test. The problem is there's no words. No passing zone is not on the sign. So if you see a yellow triangle with no words on it, you have to call that sign out to the DMV guy. That you will tell him that is a no passing zone sign. This sign right here is probably the #1 sign missed in all the road signs because you just don't see it very often. You will see that picture again. If you miss it, it may be because you're using the bathroom right now. Okay? Just telling you. All right? So test question could be a question, or it may have a picture of that sign right there with no words on it. Now you know it. All right, let's continue.
This pennant-shaped sign is sometimes used to mark no passing zones. It's usually on the left side of the road so that our view won't be blocked by the car ahead. These signs say which lanes let us go in which direction. This sign regulates speed. Any faster than 35, and we risk a ticket. Signs can also warn us of danger. Most are yellow, which generally means caution, and are diamond-shaped. They have symbols that warn of certain dangers ahead, such as curves in the road, including sharp curves, crossroads, traffic signals, where the road is about to divide, where the one-way street we're on is about to become two-way, where we merge with traffic on the main road, where other traffic merges with us, where the right lane is about to end, and places where pedestrians may cross. This warning sign is shaped like a house and tells us that we're entering a zone where there are likely to be children, like schools and playgrounds. This one tells us where they may cross the street. Some school zone signs flash warnings of lowered speed limits at certain times. What do you suppose this means? Right. The road can be slippery when it's wet. There are many other signs with symbols like these. Most are pretty easy to understand. Orange signs warn of construction zones. People who have to work close to passing traffic require and deserve our close attention. These signs warn of railroad crossings ahead. We're there. Some of these cross bucks have signs saying how many tracks there are. Some signs aren't intended to control traffic, but just give us information, such as which route we're on, and where routes go. Blue signs generally tell us about services. Brown signs generally tell us about places of interest. Another form of traffic control is pavement markings. These mark the edge of the road. White lines separate lanes going in the same direction. We can cross these dashed lines if we need to, but we shouldn't cross these. Yellow lines separate lanes going in opposite directions. We can cross a dashed line to pass another car if there is no oncoming traffic, but we can't cross these. We can't pass here because the solid line is on our side of the road. Now we can.
Guys, please pay attention to this right here, okay? Most students know this right here. This is very basic driver's education. If you don't know this, you better get caught up, okay? You should know that. This picture right here has got 3 different areas of who can pass and who can't, okay? The first part, you're going down this hill. The yellow dots is on your side, all right? That means that you could pass somebody from your side. Cars coming at you cannot pass because there is a solid line. So those dashes, dots, however you want to look at it, that indicates things to you. So, all right, so look at this. You're going down the hill. If we are headed in this direction, then we are allowed to pass. Now, look when you get down to the bottom of the hill. It doesn't look like it's a whole lot of space, but now all that is there is just dots. There's no yellow lines. There's just dots. So that means that either side could pass. So we could pass somebody if it was clear. If somebody was coming at us, they could pass somebody if it was clear, okay? So going down the hill right here, we can pass. In the middle or the bottom of the hill, either side can pass. You can look at the difference in the lines. Now, when we go start uphill, we cannot pass, but the cars coming at us could pass, okay? Just wanted to explain that a little bit. You got to know these things. Once again, the good part about doing this is you can rewind it and look again on your video.
Some lines run across the road. If we have to stop for a red light or stop sign, this line tells us where. And this crosswalk is reserved for pedestrians. It is illegal to enter it if someone is walking or about to walk across it. These are reversible lanes. They allow traffic in different directions at different times and on certain days. Sometimes the times appear on signs. Sometimes it's done with lights. The green arrow indicates lanes that we can use. The red X indicates lanes that we can't. This is like a yellow light. It means that the lane is changing from a green to a red X. A flashing yellow X is a lane reserved for turning. This indicates a center lane for left turns to be shared by traffic from both directions. We can enter only at the point we plan to turn, such as a shopping center on the left. There are some basic rules covering who must yield the right-of-way to whom. First, cars must always yield to pedestrians legally crossing the street. Cars crossing sidewalks must yield to pedestrians on them. Cars turning left must yield to oncoming cars going straight ahead. The car behind must yield to the car ahead, regardless of how quickly it stops. Cars entering or crossing a main road must yield to cars traveling on it. Cars must yield to emergency vehicles with flashing red or blue lights, whether they are approaching from the front or from behind. We need to pull as far off the road as possible. Emergency vehicles need lots of room to maneuver. Finally, cars must yield to school buses stopped to drop off or pick up children.
All right, guys, I want to speak for just a second with this. I mentioned the other day that we had a student, a school bus driver called us and said, listen, just had a guy blow right through a stop sign on a school bus. The school bus driver called me and said, I want you to call that student and give him a earful, because I could easily turn this recording into the state trooper, and the state trooper comes and gives him a ticket for it. Let me show you what we call amber lights. Okay, I'm going to back this up. So you're going to see this school bus is going to have yellow lights. Okay, and then those yellow lights are now going to turn red. The amber lights are letting you know that school bus is approaching a stop. Okay. The amber lights means it's almost like you're driving through an intersection. The light's green, 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 green. It turns yellow. You got to make a decision. Can I get stopped or do I need to keep going? That amber light, you're going to see when I mash play, it's yellow, 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 yellow. When you see those yellow lights on the school bus, I'm not talking about hazard lights, because a lot of times you'll see school buses on a 4-lane on the interstate. When they get on the 4-lane, they'll normally cut their emergency flashers on. They want you to see them. You know why? Because normally, remember, the max speed limit for a yellow school bus is 45 miles an hour. Let me tie this into one of the test questions on your final exam. Studies are showing now that if you are going considerably below the speed limit on an interstate highway, you are likely to be involved in an accident. So why do school buses cut their emergency flashers on when they're on a 4-lane? Because their max speed is 45 miles an hour, and they're out with traffic going 55, 60, 70 miles an hour. But we're not talking about emergency flashers. We're talking about amber lights. The amber lights are flashing yellow. You need to be prepared to stop. If that school bus actually stops the vehicle, pulls his stop sign out, those lights change from amber, yellow, to red. If you don't stop at that point, you are going to get this right here. A knock on the door. State trooper going to give you a ticket. Okay? So let's continue and see what they got to say about it.
Lots of room to maneuver. Finally, cars must yield to school buses stopped to drop off or pick up children. Cars on the other side of the road must stop as well, unless it is a divided highway. And cars must remain stopped as long as the bus is there. Children may cross in front of the bus. There are some rules that regulate the lanes that we can use. Travel lanes are to travel in. It's against the law to stop because we're confused, or want to let out a passenger, or we're having car trouble. Drivers behind won't expect it. If we have to stop, we pull off the road. Backing in a travel lane.
All right, we're going to skip through the rest of those few minutes. Stay with me. We're getting through class. We've been about an hour or so. Some of this stuff, guys, I want to be able to show you on the dry erase board intersections. I want to be able to ask questions to you. Let me just go ahead and tell you, test question that you will need to know whenever you do your quiz. It may actually be on this test. I don't know. I have to check. If not, it will be on the next one. I'm going to write it down. Most accidents happen at intersections. Test question. That is on your test at some point, okay? We may not go over it again. You watch this video, you will know. Most accidents happen at intersections. I can tell you this, guys, when I first started taking or, learning driver's ed and becoming an instructor, if you would have asked me, where does most accidents happen? Topping over a hill, intersections, or sharp curves, I probably would have picked sharp curves. Okay, the reason why is because intersections are controlled with traffic lights. Most of them are. Traffic lights. Green means go, red means stop. That's pretty simple, guys. But what I was telling you about in Franklin, we have got intersections where there was red lights, yellow lights, green arrows, yellow arrows, flashing lights. They took those lights out and put a roundabout. Roundabouts are much, much easier, okay? From just driving around, I don't know about one in Murphy, don't know about one in Hayesville, Franklin, there's 7 of them. Waynesville, I know that like down near Lowe's and stuff like that, they're not back toward town. There's a couple in Asheville. I know there's one at Biltmore Park, there where the movie theaters is close to that. So roundabouts, they are much easier. You pull up to a roundabout, you can only go right. That's the only option you have. There's no decisions. You make a right, you yield left. If nobody's coming, you get to go. If there's somebody coming, you got to stop. That's pretty simple, okay? Most accidents happen at intersections. We will talk about that actually when we're in class because I want to be able to share it on the board. You know why? Most accidents happen at intersections more than anywhere else. So I want to make sure that, and we will talk about this in the car too. All right. We will talk about it in the car. We will talk about it in class. Why? Because most accidents happen where? Good, good, good. I don't even know if you're answering or not. I'm going to act like you are, okay? Traffic, tells drivers where. Pretty simple stuff, guys. Tells you what you can do, tells you what you cannot do. Green means go, red means stop. So a lot of these signs right here, if you want to take a picture of this screen with your phone, that way you can go back and look at them. These are your basic signs that you're going to, come in contact with a lot of the time. I'm hearing something outside and it sounds like it is pouring down the rain. So right now, the time in Franklin, North Carolina is 1:15. I don't know where you're at 1:15, probably class. So take a picture of that. Orange signs they talked about in the video, those are construction signs. There's people working on the side of the road. This is what I will tell you if you're in the car with me. If that was you working on the side of the road, how would you like for me to drive by you? 55 miles an hour? Probably not. Well, then why are you doing it to that guy? That guy, all he's trying to do is get up in the morning, go to work, and try to provide for his family. He has a job, a very dangerous job, where he is working right beside of cars that are not even respecting his job and just driving 55 miles an hour down the road on their phone, texting, and then you mess up, that guy dies. Act like that was you. If you're driving down the road, you look up the road, here is a guy riding a bicycle on the road. Let me just tell you this. I don't agree with that. Once again, doesn't mean that it's right, doesn't mean that it's wrong, just because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with people being able to ride bikes in the road, not because it's an inconvenience to me, because I got to slow down and wait until it's clear to pass them. I think it should not be right for them because they're going to get killed. They're driving 7 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, however fast the bicycle goes, I don't know. It's another one of those exercise things you're probably not going to see me doing, okay? But the car comes flying around the curve at 45 miles an hour, and here's somebody riding a bike at 12 miles an hour. You know who's in danger? that guy on that bike. Hey, if I hit a bicycle with my truck, probably not going to hurt me. Probably won't even put a scratch on my truck, to be honest with you. That guy's had a bad day. So what I'm saying in this is that when you are driving, here's a guy on a bicycle. Even though I don't agree with it, I'm going to respect it because it's the law that says that he has the right to ride that bicycle. So I'm going to treat him just like I would expect him to treat me if that was me on the bike. That's how you need to treat it. Be patient. Hey, if you're late for work, it ain't his fault. You should have left earlier. Okay? If you're late for school, it's not his fault. You should have left earlier so that you can plan for things like this. All right? If you're getting to school every single day and you're running from the parking lot and you know that the bell's going to ring because you got it timed on your watch. I got 8 seconds to get to class. Dude, your time's coming. Your time is coming. You should be there 10 minutes early instead of 10 seconds late. Shapes of the signs. Once again, you want to take a picture of this. I'm looking here. Probably every one of those will be on your test when you go to the DMV office. And that's how they will look. All right? That's how they will look. The first sign up there, that's a stop sign. It's going to be red, but no words. The next one, yield sign. That will be on there with no words, okay? You've got the diamond shape. You've got the school crossing. The one on the bottom left right there, it tells you no passing, okay? If you want to take a picture with this with your phone, I will give you 5 seconds to get your phone. 4, 3, 2, close enough. There you go. Regulatory signs, okay? You have a diamond-shaped sign like that right there. That is a warning sign. They're warning you about something coming up. A regulatory sign is a sign that is telling you something. It's not warning you. It is telling you. So you got a warning sign that warns you of, hey, there's a red light coming up. That's a warning. Slow down. There's a red light. A regulatory sign is not telling you, slow down. There's a red light. It's telling you to stop. See that stop sign in that picture? That's a regulatory sign. These are regulatory signs right here. All right. So it's not warning you that you cannot take a left turn. It's telling you you cannot take a left turn. All right. So I'll give you a second to take a picture of those if you need to. Some of the ones that I see off the top of my head that you'll see on your DMV test. Stop sign. It will look just like that. No words. Yield sign. No words. Right here, I guess you can see where I'm pointing at, but made you think that anyway. Do not enter. That sign will be on your test at the DMV office. No words. No words will be on there, okay? Regulatory signs tells you stuff. So here is the warning signs, okay? Diamond shape, yellow or black. These are warning signs. See, all of these signs except the school signs, they're all diamond-shaped signs. So they're not going to give you a yellow diamond-shaped sign on your test with nothing on it and expect you to say what sign that is. If that is on your test, you will answer that is a warning sign, okay? Because there's a bunch of diamond-shaped signs. So there's no way they can show you a picture of a yellow diamond-shaped sign with nothing on it and say, what does that sign mean? If that is the option, you are going to say that is a warning sign. What I'm saying is you're not going to say that is a crossroad. You're not going to say that looks like it is a side road. That looks like that is a T intersection. No, you're going to say that is a warning sign, okay? Now, if you look at those, out of those right there, if you'll look where it says divided highway begins, it's on the second row, second one over. Middle row, second and third one over. It says divided highway begins. You need to look at that. So if you are driving down the road, your lane would be on the right. You're going straight and your lane is on the right. So if you look at that diamond-shaped sign that says divided highway begins, there's 2 arrows. One is going to the right, One is going opposite direction. So if you see that sign, that tells you that your road is fixing to be divided. Okay? You might ask the question, divided by what? It could be divided by a guardrail. It could be divided by grass, the median. It can be divided by, just yellow sign or yellow pavement lines. It could be trees. It could be anything. But your road is fixing to be divided between the traffic coming at you. Now, look at the third one on the in that same row. That one says divided highway ends. So if you're driving down the road, you're on the right side, your road right now is divided by a guardrail. That sign says that's fixing to end, which means that you will probably have traffic going side by side at each other. Okay? Those two signs you need to know. Probably going to be on your test. The third row down, all the way to the left, look at those signs. They mentioned this in the video, and it's the way I like to look at it. That looks like a house. You will see this sign again on your test. It's a house. So both of those signs look very familiar to each other, very similar. Okay? One of them, it has lines. The other one does not. Okay? So let's say that you're driving down the road, and the second one, just school, not crossing, school. If you're driving to school tomorrow, at some point when you get close to your school, you will see that sign right there. That's warning you about a school is ahead. Okay? The first sign on the bottom row, the school crossing, that sign is what it is. It says that there is actually a place right here for students to cross the road. Those are two different signs. I believe when you go to the DMV office and you're taking your road sign test, you're looking into a machine and that picture comes up, I think that the DMV office would accept you saying that is a school or a school crossing. But you need to know the difference. They look identical to each other except that one line going across on the first school crossing. Okay? So get it right. If on your test you look into it and the first one right there, it has a line through it, that tells you that's not a school. That's a school crossing. When you take your test, if that line's not there, you need to announce to the guy, that means there's a school ahead. He will accept that. Okay? All right, let's continue. Warning signs right here, some diamond-shaped signs. Not every sign has got to be diamond-shaped, okay? These are warning signs right here. Not all of them are that. So once again, the no passing zone, that is going to look just like that without any words. Deer crossing, there is a traffic light ahead. Things like that, they want to, listen, when I'm in the car with you, I hope I tell you this. Every single road sign on the side of the road, they put just for you. Nobody else. They actually send a, well, I hope none of your parents work for the state, but if they do, it is what it is. They send about 8 guys out on the side of the road to put one sign up. You've all seen it, okay? But they put that sign just for you. But let me tell you something. Until you get comfortable behind the wheel of the car to where you can do that, you're never going to see those. Never. Okay? So when you see a sign that says there's a stop sign ahead, if you don't see that, you come flying around that curve in an area that you don't know, here's a stop sign, kind of catches you off guard. That's why they warn you about these things, okay? Railroad crossings. These are things that students, say in Franklin, don't have to deal with. It's pretty simple. There is no railroads in Franklin. Some people that's lived here their whole life that don't get out very much, and when they do, they're always on their phone. They may not have a clue what these signs are, okay? So the round circle with the X through it, RR, that will be on your test. Promise, promise, promise. You need to know that, okay? So that yellow is warning you. It's warning you. There is a railroad crossing ahead. That's what it's telling you. Railroad crossing. The next one, where it's got the X right there, that's telling you the railroad is right here. It's almost like a stop sign because that's where the railroad is at. So the yellow one is warning you there's a railroad track ahead. The next one says, because listen, the railroad is not up in the air. It's not in the trees. It's on the ground. Sometimes it's hard to see because a lot of times you're driving and you got to go up a little hill to go over the railroad. So they're telling you right here is the railroad tracks. All right. So with that being said, you got Swain and Bryson City, railroad tracks. These pictures right here, you've probably seen 1,000 times. In Asheville, you've probably seen these pictures. Understand this. The test at the DMV office and your driving is not based off of where you live in Franklin, North Carolina. Because guess what? You have to know the rules of the road, the road signs, so that when you do go to Swain, when you do go to Asheville, you know these things. Well, I don't have to worry about that. There's no roundabouts where I live. Better not come to Franklin. Or you better figure it out before you do. Okay? Construction zones. I'm going to skip. I'm not going to skip through this. I just want you to understand these orange signs, guys. Let me tell you, you've got to respect these guys and gals working on the side of the road. If you look in the bottom left over there where it's got the flaggers, okay, those guys are there. Maybe there's the dump truck that's getting loaded with dirt and they're having to park out in the road or whatever the case may be. They are trying to stop traffic, okay? And they do that by that sign telling you to stop. If it says stop, you better stop, okay? They will give you warnings. They will warn you. See the top left sign right there? This is funny because I always ask my students when we're driving, hey, what does that road sign mean right there? I don't know. You know what I tell them? If you tell me you don't know what that means, you know what I'm going to reply back to you? That means there's a bunch of cheerleaders up here. That's what it looks like, that they're up there cheerleading with their pom-poms. And they look at me like I'm crazy. You know what I do? I look back at them like they're crazy because you need to know that. Because that sign right there is letting you know there's a guy around the corner that's going to be flagging traffic. There's no cheerleaders up there. He's telling you, warning you, slow down. There is somebody flagging traffic up the road, and you may have to stop. Pretty simple stuff, guys. So right there, I noticed the guy this could be a crazy test question that you should know if you watch this video. This is at the last test question at the end of it, I guess. He called it a route. He said, if you want to go on Route 72 or whatever he said, I don't know. I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he was talking about the root in the bottom of a tree or something. That's a route to me. So I say route. If you want to go toward Franklin or Silva, you need to take route whatever. So this could be a test question that from this point on, do you call it a route or a route? The answer to the question is route. Got that? Everybody shaking their head yes? If you say route, shake your head no. If you're shaking your head no, you failed the test. Okay? I'm just kidding. But isn't that crazy? I mean, I heard him say that about a route. I was like, route? What's he talking about? I call a route. So let me write that down. Here's test question. Test question. It is a route instead of a route. There you go. Test question. Some of this stuff, guys, just learn it. Blue signs, brown signs, green signs. There's the difference. All right. I'm not hugely concerned about some of these signs because look, there's a boat ramp. Listen, if you don't know what that means, don't go fishing. I'm just telling you, or know where you're going to put your boat in the water. Some of this stuff you will learn as you go, okay? As you continue. The one that I would mention right there is the hospital. The hospital. It's just a blue sign with an H, okay? Temporary signs due to different things. Those are temporary signs. You can see it's got the little tripod at the bottom to hold it up. Some of this stuff we're going to move right through. I don't see anything. The second one up top, very important sign. That means the lane is going to end. If you are in the right lane, your lane is going to end. So you got two choices. You can go off the cliff or you can move over to the left lane. They warned you. If you go off the cliff, don't you say, well, I didn't know it's going to end. Obviously, you're not paying attention to your road signs, okay? Red lights, yellow lights, green lights. We will talk about this stuff as we get into intersections, okay? Flashing red, flashing yellow. You don't see this a whole lot. You just don't. If you live in Swain, in Bryson City, there is an intersection that's been there for a very long time out by the train tracks, I guess. One of the lights are flashing red. So if you're going this direction, like this, then those lights are flashing red. That means you stop. If you're going this direction, those lights are flashing yellow, which means you can go, but you go with caution. Okay? Some of y'all probably have never seen lights like this. You're just not. I don't know where any of them are at in Asheville. They may be 50 there for all I know. Or in Waynesville. I don't know. There's not any that I can think of in Franklin that is a continuous flashing yellow light and then a continuous flashing red light. But I do know there's one in Swain. So if it's red, red means what? Stop. Yellow, proceed with caution. Okay? Arrows. We will talk about these red arrows, yellow arrows, and green arrows. From this point on, guys, every time that you are pulling up to an intersection, from this point on, you have got to understand whether or not you get to go or you must yield right away to another car. Ask your parents, please, please, please. We're going to talk about it again. I'm going to move through it right now. We will talk about intersections again. But if you start asking your parents these questions now, it's going to be pretty simple when I put it up on the board. If you have a yellow arrow, cars coming at you, has got a green light. You don't have the right of way. If you have a green arrow, cars coming at you, have a red light. I will move on. Pedestrians, once again, depends on what area you're in. In Franklin, you may not see this a whole lot. Probably about 2 or 3 places in Franklin that you're going to see this kind of stuff. In Asheville, it's all over the place. You have to know what these things mean. Walk means walk. Stop means stop. Okay, this is a statistic. I don't know if it's changed any in the last couple of years. This statistic used to, I remember it from 4 or 5 years ago, that listen to this right here, 2 out of every 5 people killed inside the city limits are pedestrians. That is a crazy high number. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 people killed in the city limits. 40%. 2 out of 5 people killed are pedestrians. All they're trying to do is to walk across the road. Okay? Listen, the pedestrian didn't die because they tripped and fell and hit their head on the pavement. They died. Why? Because a car ran them over. You know what probably didn't happen? The driver lived. More than likely, the driver probably lived. And now for the rest of their life, they have to live with that. You know why? It may have been through an intersection. Most accidents happen where? I should hear you. Intersections. This is one of the reasons right here, this phone. Okay? So know what you have the right to do. Let me just tell you this. Pedestrians have always have the right of way. In the video, I noticed it said pedestrians have got the right of way as long as it was legal for them to walk. I believe they're wrong. Pedestrians have always got the right of way. Now, understand this. You're driving down Main Street, wherever you live, and somebody jumps right out in front of you, you run them over. Hey, it's not your fault. I mean, you were paying attention. You know, and the guy just stepped out from behind the car and you hit him. It's not your fault, okay? That guy should have been in a crosswalk. But what they say by law, I believe, is that pedestrians have always got the right of way, because if they did not say this, remember what Melinda said the other day, there's warning signs on everything. You know, do not get in the bathtub with a toaster plugged in. Melinda talks about that all the time, that she's had such a bad day, she's going to go get in the bathtub and jump in the water with a toaster plugged in. I told her that I would help plug it in if she wanted me to. Just kidding. I don't know what I'd do without her, because she does so much. So, but what I'm saying is that pedestrians, if they made a law that said that pedestrians do not have the right of way, that would give you the right as a driver. Oh, here's somebody walking across the road. They're not in a crosswalk. I can run them over and I don't even have to pay a fine. That's not the case, guys. I know that you probably wouldn't think like that, but pedestrians have got the right of way. It's that important. 2 out of 5 people killed inside the city limits are pedestrians. And you know what's crazy? I try not to watch the news a whole lot, but honestly, if I watched the Asheville news 10 days in a row, I about bet you one of those days they would talk about a pedestrian being run over or somebody riding a bicycle being run over. If your parents are listening to me right now, they're probably shaking their head. Yep, I hear it all the time. You may not, because you probably don't watch the news. Next thing. Here we go. Yellow lines. Double yellow lines you cannot pass. The dots, if you look at the top left corner, that no one can pass. Top right corner, cars on the right side can pass. Bottom left, I don't even see. Oh, that's, I guess that looks like a wall there to the left. Obviously, you're not going to pass in that. The bottom right corner, either side can pass. Right there is a picture of it, okay? If you need to take a picture of that, please have your phone out. Take a picture of it now. The left picture, 2 directions. Yellow lines means that there's cars going in opposite direction. No one can pass. The middle picture, opposite direction. Either side can pass. The right picture, opposite directions. Right lane only can pass. There you go. There's some more lines. Look at the white dots. See there? Yellow lines and white lines are totally different. See, look at the top left picture. Okay. The side of the road on the right, there's 2 lanes going in the same direction. On the left side of that picture, there's 2 lanes going in the left side. Okay. The yellow line separates those 2 things. So I like to tell it, probably 99% sure about this. Might be some incidents every once in a while that it's not, but I can tell you that anytime you see a yellow line, cars on the left side of that yellow line will be coming at you 99.9% of the time. Anything to the left, write this down, anything to the left of a yellow line, cars are coming at you. Okay? Got that? White lines, arrows. Okay, the top left corner, white dots headed the same direction, 2 lanes going that direction. Arrows, see the bottom left picture? That arrow right there says you can only turn right. You have to be able to think about what direction you want to go as you approach the intersection. If you're in that left bottom picture, you cannot go straight. And you know what happens with students? They get up there in that lane, and as they approach, they get to about where that car is at right now. Uh-oh, I can only go right in this lane. I don't want to go right. I need to go left. Well, guess what? If you ain't figured that out by now, you're going right, go up the road, turn around, come back, because you're not going left right there. Think about it as you approach. Here's some more things about parking lines, stuff like that. I'm not going to get into a whole lot about that, just simply because we will work on some of that. Left turns from either direction in the middle of the road. You have got to share the road. So look at the left picture. If you are going straight, you're in the right side of the road. and you're going to get into the middle turning lane and turn into Dunkin' Donuts. By the way, Melinda was there today. I called her. What are you doing? What do you think I'm doing? Huh. How did I not figure that out? Okay. She did. She went first day. She probably bought stock in Dunkin' Donuts today, just simply because she would probably make more money by doing that. Okay. If you are going straight and you get into the middle lane and you're going to turn left, that is a shared road. You cannot get in that middle lane and drive a quarter of a mile until you get to Dunkin' Donuts just because traffic is backed up. You cannot do that. Technically, I don't know what the distance is, but I see a lot of times where maybe somebody is pulling out of Dunkin' Donuts and they're going to take a left. So they turn out, they get into that middle lane, and they're trying to drive and get their speed up so they can merge to the right and get into traffic. That's against the law. That's not a merge lane. That's a turning lane. Okay? So when you get into that lane and you got traffic coming beside you, you may have to stop, put your blinker on, and wait until it's safe to move. These things right here, I've never seen this. Never. Sometimes in big cities, what they can do is if they've got 8 lanes of traffic, let's just say they got 8 lanes going, 4 going into town, 4 coming out of town. Well, in a big city, say like in Atlanta or somewhere like that, that most of the traffic at 4 o'clock in the afternoon is not going into town, but it's leaving town. So what they can do is they can use, remember, they got 4 lanes here, 4 lanes here. So they might let 2 lanes go into town and then use these 6 lanes going out. That's hard to do. I can't get that finger up like that. See what it? So these 6 lanes going out. So what they can do is use these arrows. It talked about it in the video. A red X means you can't use that lane. A green arrow means you can. So what that means is that in the end of the day, when people are leaving the city, they can leave with 6 lanes of traffic. That's smart that they do that. I just don't never see any of that stuff happening. Continue in X's, green, stuff like that. Some of this stuff, this is way, way, way above a basic driver's education program. Railroad crossing, you can see right there at the yellow sign, that is a warning. It's telling you. See the next sign up there with the white X? That's telling you that is where the railroad crossing is, okay? Over to the right picture, that is not a school crossing, but that is a school warning. It's warning you about a school coming up. Handicap parking, I can tell you, don't park there. Just don't do it. You're probably going to act like you are handicapped some of these times. If you have a handicap sticker, put it in your windshield, leave it up there all the time. If you don't, then don't park there. If you can walk into the store from 100 yards away, listen, I know people that probably deserve to have that handicap parking and they refuse to do it. You know why? They think about that grandma that actually needs it. And so therefore they say, you know what? I can do it. If you can, do it. If you can't, do it. Don't. It's not a big deal. All right. So right there, we have gotten through Unit 5. We probably are hour and 30, 40 minutes into the class. That's good because the next thing you got, if we took about a 15-minute break right now, which we can do, and then you took your quiz, your test today, I don't know how long it's going to take you, 50 questions. I would say around 30 minutes because everything on that test we've went over. You should be able to knock it out. Some of y'all, may take 45 minutes. I don't care if it takes you an hour. One of the questions that was asked last night after some of y'all jumped out, can I use my notes? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you took notes, listen, how would I know that you didn't? Or how would I know that you did if I said you couldn't? If I said, listen, take this test, you cannot use your notes. How would I know that you did? I'm not going to. That's why I say yes. If you got a piece of paper and a pencil and took notes, you should make 100. Okay? Guys, I don't think that anything that we're asking you to do or anything that we are requiring that you do is something that you cannot do. I'm going to throw this out there. If you're making a 50, 60, 70 on this test, dude, you're not paying attention. And I can assure you, I can pick up the phone and talk to your parents and say, listen, we've had 3 quizzes, and next week we will have more. Probably maybe every night, every afternoon. We've had 3 quizzes. I'm sitting here. I can prove to your parents that you have not been in class. We've completed 15 hours of class, and right here it shows me that he logged in this time, logged out, logged in, logged out, logged in, logged out. And out of 15 hours, he's been in class 6 hours. And because of that, I'm not asking your parents, do you think I should kick him out of the class? I'm not asking. When I make the phone call, you're out. No questions. Because I promise when I get to that point that you've made a 60 on a test, a 70 on a test, a 75 on a test, you ain't been in class but 6 hours, you're out. See you. The next thing I will tell you is yesterday, last night after class, everybody got logged out. There was a few students that stayed on and asked questions. We enjoy that time. I appreciate you staying and asking those questions. But as students asked questions, we answered it. Boom, they got off. Next one, question. Boom, they got off. Next question. Boom, they got off. When everybody asked questions, there was 1, maybe 2 students. I think 1 student that I said, hey, you got a question? Got a question? Hello, hello, hello. Got a question? That person did not log off. You know what that shows on our record? That he spent 8 hours yesterday in class, knowing darn good and well he didn't. You know what that tells me? That at the end of the class, he probably wasn't nowhere to be around. That's what it tells me. I can assure you, Melinda wrote your phone number down, and there's going to be a conversation about it because we told you the first day that when class is over, you have to get out of the class. Because if you don't, it shows that you spent 12 hours yesterday in class, and we know that you didn't. That means you probably did not finish the class. That you went and took a shower, went and ate supper, and come back, at 12 o'clock at night, I didn't get out of the class. That's what I think happened. Okay? So with that being said, guys, this has been a good class. It's going to get better, I promise you. It's going to get better. This is a class that we've never done it this way. Bear with us. Bear with us. Next week will be very similar to what we're doing this week, but we've got some good things in store for you, okay? As of right now, you've got a test tomorrow, this afternoon. You've got this to watch. You're off Friday. Listen to me. No class Friday. No class Saturday. No class Sunday. That might give you an opportunity to maybe work on your drug and alcohol if you did not get that completed. Monday, 6:30, back in class. Okay? We'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, class over. You will have a final exam on Friday. No class on Friday. We will email you the test. You take it, you're done. We will get into this. This right here, if you have not printed this off right here, if you've not printed this off, you probably need to. If you don't have a printer, don't go buy one. Most students would probably be okay as long as you talk to somebody at your school and ask if you could print this driver's ed information off. I can tell you if you go to Franklin High School, come see me, I will give you one, okay? You don't have to have it printed off, but I want you to be able to go through it and mark on your paper because this is your final exam. Fair enough? I'm out of here. I hope you have a good weekend. Some of you guys are playing football. Some of y'all are running cross country, got volleyball. I hope whoever you're playing that you kick their butts all over the court, unless you're a West Henderson. Bye-bye. See you.